Welcome to Medicare School Daily, where we help you understand Medicare, save money, avoid mistakes, and above all else, get the most out of your Medicare benefits. Now, today's topic is the two Medicare options for veterans, meaning you're approaching 65 and you served in the military, you have VA benefits, or you are beyond 65 but you're getting ready to retire and you also have those VA benefits. So you're eligible for VA benefits. And so let's look at these two options and give you some of the details surrounding them. Number one, VA is not Tricare for life. If you served in our country, you more than likely are eligible for some type of benefits through the Veterans Administration. So this means you served in the military. It may have been 4, 6 years, 8 years, or whatever period of time it was, but you served in the military. And by the way, we're grateful you did that. Thank you for your service to our country. Now, that's VA benefits. Anyone who has Tricare for Life or CHAMPS VA, what does this mean? This means that you retired from the military. You actually retired. You put in your 20 years or 25 or 30 years, however long you served our country. Again, we're grateful that you did. And the government gives you this Tricare. And then once you're Medicare eligible, it's called Tricare for Life. CHAMPS VA would be for those that are the spouses of retired or even deceased veterans. All right, so I want to make sure you're clear that when I talk about VA benefits today, I'm not talking about Tricare for Life or CHAMPS VA. And those of you that may be watching this that are eligible for Tricare for Life or CHAMPS VA, my encouragement to you is this. If I were you, I would enroll in A and B only. And then what's going to happen is Medicare A and B is going to pay first, and your CHAMPS or your Tricare for Life will fill in all the gaps. Medicare pays first. CHAMPS VA or Tricare for Life will fill in all the remaining gaps. You'll have pretty much 100% coverage, and they will also include a prescription drug plan. So as you hear talk about supplemental plans, advantage plans, or prescription drug plans, my advice to you is don't get any of those because you don't need them. There's no reason to pay a premium for those. You really, truly have the best situation here. As long as you enroll in A and B and let them pay second, including your drug plan, you have great coverage. All right? So that's for Tricare for Life and CHAMPS VA. But anyone else that is eligible for VA, you served our country. Now let's go to the second aspect here. Do you know your VA benefits and eligibility for those benefits? Which means what? Have you filled out the application, the paperwork that's necessary? Have you had your interview? And have they determined what kind of eligibility you have? I meet lots of veterans who served our country in the military, but they really have never jumped through the hoops that are necessary to determine exactly what their benefits and eligibility would be. Now, for some, it's wonderful. In fact, sometimes you get 100%. Other times, it's not that much. And so you want to be sure. Don't assume that you're eligible for VA benefits until you've done the process and the paperwork that's necessary for them to establish that. So we are assuming then that you've gone through the necessary paperwork and the process to determine what those are, and now you've been even using some of those benefits. That takes us to question number 3. Are you actually pleased with that VA coverage? In other words, you've been in that system for a while and you say, yes, I really am pleased. And if you are pleased with that, my advice to you is this. I would enroll in Medicare A and B. Now, there will be some within the VA system that say, oh, don't worry about getting B. Listen, I think that's a huge mistake. And the reason is for this, because if you get B now, you do have to pay a premium for that. But you have a lot of insurance for $144.60 a month. And so I would encourage you to get A and B. And then what I would do, instead of getting like a supplemental plan, because again, we're saying you are pleased with the VA coverage, what I would do then is I would just get an advantage plan. These are called C plans. C plans or replacement plans. And the reason I would do this, number one, is because you can get these for 0 premium. So you have a lot of insurance by having just B premium, and there's 0 premium on most Advantage plans. And so now what you have is you have 2 options. You can use the VA when you want, if you want to, and then you can use your civilian option, which would be your Advantage plan. Because we have VA because we served in the military, but we have Advantage plan because we paid into the Medicare system. We have our 40 quarters that's paid in. And so we can use this whenever we want. So you can kind of pick and choose. You have the best of both worlds. You may want a second opinion. And you may want to go to a civilian doctor for that second opinion. A lot of people that are on VA have their meds covered at either an $8 or $9 copay, whether they're expensive or cheap, $8 or $9. You may have a couple of very inexpensive meds on the Advantage plan that will be a 0 premium. And so again, you have the benefits of that. Advantage plans throw in some gym membership, a little dental vision that may not be covered by VA. So again, you just kind of pick and choose when you want to use this. And as long as we have B, we can get that Advantage plan at no cost. So that's for those of you who are pleased with the VA. I just wouldn't get a supplemental plan in this instance because to me it's just a little bit too much insurance. You're kind of overinsured. If you're not pleased with the VA, then what I would recommend you do is I'd get A and B. Again, we got to pay that premium, $144.60, right? They deduct out of our Social Security checks, or they bill us for this quarterly, right? Times 3 here, and then we get a supplemental plan. Those supplemental plans are like a Plan F plan or a G plan or an N plan, and those are a little bit different in plan options. But the point is this: your supplemental plan is going to fill in the gaps. So Medicare pays first, and that supplemental plan, depending on what you buy, is going to fill in those gaps in full or almost in full, all right? And the reason I would do this is because once you've started your A and B, something else has started that's very, very important. You have what is called a Medigap open enrollment period. So once we start B, we have 6 months, and that's it, where we can actually have any Medicare supplemental plan of our choosing, anyone that's sold in our area. And during the 6 months, we don't have to medically qualify. So let's say I start my Medicare B 1/1/2021, and that's my B date, January 1st, 2021. For 6 months, I can have anything I want, which means what? January, February, March, April, May, June. I have 6 months where the insurance companies have to issue that supplemental plan, no health questions asked. But after 6 months, in my example, now 7/1/2021, for the rest of my life, if I ever want to get a supplemental plan, I have to medically qualify to do that. 25 health questions, check your meds to see what you're being treated for, get a statement from your doctor, and that process is necessary after our 6 months open enrollment period has expired. So in this example, from July 2021 on, now I have to medically qualify. And so if you have any health issues, I mean some just a few minor ones, and certainly any major health issues, you would never be able to get that supplemental plan truly for the rest of your life. And so it's in your best interest, if you especially have health problems and we're not happy with the VA, we get A and B, we get a supplemental plan to fill in those gaps. All right, so those are the two options that you have if you have VA eligibility. To learn more, watch the related video or check out our most recent video. Also, be sure you click to subscribe for free and get notified every time we post a new video. To watch our complete Medicare workshop, go to MedicareSchool.com. And finally, when you're ready to compare all your insurance options and get free enrollment help from one of our Medicare School guides, call the number on the screen. See you next time.